everybody, and welcome to Room 616, a brand new show on the Comic Airwaves channel where I am going to be introducing three people every time, three different people, to come on and moan and rant about something that annoyed them or something they just don't like within the pop culture world. Because we're doing this as the first episode, it's kind of a pilot, I thought I'd bring on my main hosts. As with everything else, we have Liam.
Hello.
We have Philip.
Hello.
And we have Martin.
Evening all.
How are you feeling, boys? Do you have your gripes ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to sift through the many grapes I do have, and narrow it down to one, but I've got it.
Yeah, cool. I would just love to let everyone know here that Comic Airwaves, we do support Sci-Fi. We've got a code with them, which is Airwaves, and that will give you 5% off any comics, mangas, books, basically anything from that website. 5% off. You get a discount, we get a little money back, it all goes towards the channel, and we make cool stuff. So yeah, there we go. If you want to go ahead and have a look at that, please do. We've got a few people coming in. Lovely to see you all coming in. We've got Gareth here. We've got Kevin. And we have Fuzzy Dunlop as well. Good to see you too, mate. Hope you're all doing well. We're really glad that you've come in because this is very, very reliant on you. When we're going to be going through these people's gripes, we're going to be putting a poll on the YouTube channel. Hopefully it'll work. I'm sure it will. And you will be the ones to decide if it goes into Room 616 or not. So I'll do it again. The premise is you guys have a moan. Everyone in the chat votes to see if something is worth being locked away into this nasty room to never see the light of day ever again or not. If there's a tie, I'll decide. And if no one votes, I'll decide. Are we all clear? Yeah? Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Great. So, this show's only going to be about 35, 40 minutes long. Everyone's going to have 10 minutes each to moan. And I'm going to argue with them with some notes that I've written down about their facts and their gripes. And we'll see how it goes. So, first up, we've got Liam.
Dun, dun, dun.
Liam, would you like to let us know what your gripe is? What would you like to put into Room 616?
So I would like to put modern/current Ridley Scott into Room 616, please, Scott.
Okay. May I ask why, please, Liam?
So first of all, I'd like to thank him. Who knows? He might watch this. I'd like to thank him for creating my all-time favorite monster horror film in Alien.
Yeah.
The film, atmospheric, iconic, just 10 out of 10. And then we get to modern day, and you've got films like Prometheus, which is, it's fine. If he'd have kept it as the intended spin-off, it would have been fine. But then he did Alien Covenant, and it's like Prometheus is no longer a spin-off. It is now a direct prequel to the Alien films. It's canon, yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing that justifies me banishing him most is the fact that he chose Alien Covenant over letting Neil Blomkamp do his own Alien film. Like, how do you see Neil Blomkamp Alien film and go, nah, I can do better? Like, no, and you didn't. Sorry. And then proof of the pudding is he lets the name escapes me, but there's a new director for Alien Romulus. And for the most part, Alien Romulus...
Fede Alvarez.
Thank you very much.
Fede, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, Romulus was very, very, very good. But Ridley Scott still sticks his little fingers into the pie, and you know where he stuck his fingers. And that's all I'll say.
Oh my. Okay. All right. So you said the first Alien film.
Yeah.
10 out of 10?
Yes.
It was 8.5 out of 10.
I'm
The
sorry.
second would be-
It was 8.5.
I didn't realize I
IMDb,
wasn't
mate.
allowed my own opinions.
No. No. So I've written down the track record, I guess, of Ridley Scott's Alien films. I do have his top 10 films ever as well, because I was wondering if you were going to go towards the point of he's just bad in general, modernly, or if it was just the Alien films that you thought he was.
I mean, I don't know when his last good film was.
Right.
Off the top of my head, I'm thinking maybe Martian could be considered that back in 2015.
It was 2015. That was his best. He did a film. He did The Last Duel in 2021, and on Rotten Tomatoes at 85%. But The Martian had 91.
Oh.
So yeah, I wrote down all the scores on IMDb of all the Alien films, and also who directed them. But we'll go with what Ridley Scott has done first of all.
Okay.
So the original Alien, 1979, 8.5 out of 10, like we said.
Yeah.
Then
Should be higher.
he didn't do another one until Prometheus.
Because
And then
Aliens was James Cameron.
Yep, James Cameron.
Alien 3 and Resurrection don't exist.
Okay, yeah.
And then you get Prometheus.
Well, no. And then you get the really, really good films. Alien vs. Predator. And Alien vs. Predator.
Okay,
Requiem.
yeah. They
Yeah.
also don't exist. Yeah.
But I've got all the scores, and it's really interesting. So anyway, Prometheus, out in 2012, 7 out of 10. Ridley Scott also did a little short prologue of Covenant, a short film.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I was looking into this today. I was like, oh, that's rated better than Covenant.
Yeah, so that's got 7 out of 10. And then Covenant as a whole, where Ridley Scott produced and directed, 6.4. And then Romulus, where he was just a producer. He didn't direct that one, we know that, 7.4. So he hasn't actually done that bad. The lowest is 6.4 and the highest is 8.5. But averaging, we're in the 7 mark.
Yeah, but my point is more with the modern ones, so Prometheus and Covenant. Like, it's obvious his time. Like, he should just stop messing with the Alien franchise and let others take the helm. And he just needs to stop forcing his ideas into it and just let people run with it.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
like, I am so gutted that we'll never see the Neil Blomkamp Alien 5. I think it was going to be called.
Never?
So never. Like, it was essentially Covenant or that, and Ridley, because it's Ridley Scott's IP, so I appreciate he gets the decision. But yeah, we'll never see that now.
Sorry, can I interject? Just a slight confusion on my end. Is it just Ridley Scott Alien stuff, or all of Ridley Scott's modern movies?
So I want him banished so he stops messing with
Yeah,
the
you just
Alien
want
films.
Ridley Scott.
I want to highlight this comment from Kevin Wells. Wait until after Gladiator 2 to put him in room 616. Gladiator 2 should never happen.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's fine as it is. Leave it alone.
yeah, it doesn't need to happen.
Here's a fun fact. I only watched Gladiator for the first time this month, or last month.
What?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Well, I'm not.
Pretty cool.
I'm not denying that Ridley Scott hasn't made some bangers, because obviously original Alien, Blade Runner, Gladiator.
Yeah.
What else? What else was
You know,
it
like-
with?
He can still show that he's got stuff in the tank. You know, we've got The Martian, that's his second highest.
2015,
Yeah, but that's his second highest rated film that he's
nearly
ever
10 years ago,
directed.
Scott.
But still, like, so like Alien 1979 had 93% of Rotten Tomatoes. 2015, 91. So he's still yeah, he might have dipped on the Alien stuff, but he's still able to produce good stuff like The Last Duel out in 2021, 85.
Yeah, I think he just needs to stick to new ideas, because if you look at his sequels, that's where he dips. Or prequels, that's where he
You
dips.
could argue though
Like-
he's also the lesser of the two Scott brothers. Tony Scott having better movies overall.
Ooh.
True Romance, Top Gun. There's some here, Man on Fire, Deja Vu with Denzel.
They seem more appealing, I have to admit.
Yeah. Well, so
More appealing than Alien and Blade Runner.
Yeah, but
It's
they're
a
like
Top Gun. I'm
Yeah.
up for Top Gun. Love Top Gun.
Crimson
I-
Tide, another one of Tony Scott movies.
In this argument, I'd side with Ridley.
But yeah, there's been plenty of directors over the years. We've had James Cameron, David Fincher, Jean-Pierre Jeunet, Paul Anderson, and Colin and Greg Strauss. Those last two were for the AVP films, and they were 5.7 and 4.6. I'm basing a lot of this on ratings because,
Yeah.
again, the film noob that I am, I've watched like 3 of these films, and because they're scary and I like scary films, and yeah, so that's why I'm basing all of this on scores. I haven't watched them. I don't watch them. So I appreciate that a lot of this is going to be off like, the actual viewers of the films, and you're going, no, I don't like that. Why have they done that? Why has he put his finger in that pie there? I can't believe he's put his influence there and stuff. So, I appreciate what you've said. I don't have much to argue because I haven't watched them. I've watched some of his films. Like I said, I've watched The Martian, I've watched Blade Runner, I've watched Gladiator, I've watched Prometheus and stuff like that. And I thought they were all pretty good films. But I'm not following the Alien franchise.
Yeah. Again, Prometheus would have been fine if he'd have just stuck to his guns and said, yeah, this is a spin-off. It's set in the Alien universe, but it's its own thing.
Right.
But then he trashed that with Alien Covenant.
Okay. Right. I think I'm gonna call it there now. I think that's been 10 minutes. Been about 10 minutes. Let's go over to the poll. See how that's done. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. It's a 50-50 tie. There's anyone in the chat? There's anyone in the chat who hasn't voted? Go ahead and vote. I don't want this first vote to be tiebreaker and me to just go yes or no. But I might have to because I don't think anyone. We've got 8 votes, so 50-50, 4 of each. Okay, I'm just gonna have to call it. I've just read that comment there.
Oh,
from,
it's changed. There we go. There we
Oh,
go.
okay. Right, okay. So we've got a 9th vote then. 44% no, 56% yes. Liam, Ridley Scott goes in the vault. He's going in. Let's just open it up. Let's just see Ridley Scott into the vault. Let's go. Oh, over here. Let's go. And in he goes. He's getting locked in. Bye-bye. He's in. That's our first ever thing in room 616. And it's Ridley Scott. Modern Ridley Scott, because I believe that you don't want old Ridley Scott to be in because you like the fact that the Alien franchise exists.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Essentially forced retirement.
Okay. Yeah, you're done, mate. Just stop now. Hand it over. Okay. Well, thank you very much. There we go.
Very
Very
welcome.
successful for you. You have put Ridley Scott into the vault.
His care home.
Next up, may I please introduce Martin from Sonic's Comics on Instagram. Please go and follow him. Martin, would you
Yes.
like to... Wait, let me just end this poll so I can get another one going. Would you like to introduce your gripe?
My gripe is for the comic book collected edition fans, and mine is collected editions inconsistencies.
Okay.
That is my gripe. My gripe consists of multiple things in that one topic, and it can be anything from spine design changes through a series. It can be when they collect a series and they leave issues out and you get orphaned issues. It can be when you buy a nice expensive deluxe edition and then you read that deluxe edition and you buy volume 2. It doesn't start off exactly where you left off. It starts off 6 issues down the line for no apparent reason.
I know what you're talking about there.
Without any explanation. I like when it comes to spine design, it frustrates me when you buy a nice brand new omnibus, lovely on the shelf, looks great. Volume 2 comes out and it doesn't even match the original book. It looks completely different. Or for the Marvel collected edition fans, when you go and buy a Silver Age sort of omnibus and they've changed to new font on the side of the spine and it doesn't match anything else that you've got.
Or the logo at the top
Is a
Is
different
like-
size.
different size. Yeah.
Or when you decide that you're going to buy a trade paperback or standard size hardcovers, and you buy the first 3 or 4 volumes of your latest Batman run. You're reading the Batman run. You collected them in hardcovers, and then DC Comics says they're not making them in hardcover anymore, so you have to transfer over to trades, which messes your format. So you've now got hardcovers into trades, and it doesn't look great on the shelf.
So
My complaint is continuous inconsistencies with the way that collected editions are put together and sold to us, the deserving public.
yeah, so you're purely looking at this from a visual standpoint.
No, I'm coming
No?
in from a collected as well, because
Okay,
you get
alright.
because we're getting orphaned issues, we're getting missing issues. You buy trade paperbacks, for example, when you're reading through multiple issues, and then you find out you've got to buy a separate book from a separate series for the missing issues that are not in your volume 3. They're in a completely separate run for then you to go to volume 4 and then back to the series again, multiple issues down the line.
So it's really hard for me to disagree with anything here. Like, I'm just thinking, I'm thinking of examples I've got right behind me. So my examples, personally, I think you were hinting towards the Something's Killing the Children books.
100%.
Yeah, so the deluxes, volume 1 and 2, book 1 is volumes 1 to 3, and then book 2 is volumes 5 to 7. So volume 4 is like an origins volume, and we have been given the information to say from James Tynan that there's going to be like an origins deluxe down the line when more origin stories come out from Erica Slaughter, you hope. But that this sucks. It's just put it in. Just put it in the deluxe as if you were going to release it in trade order or in floppies order, single issues, stuff like that.
I appreciate the fact that there are reasons sometimes for them not to follow it chronologically, but as a collector, as we all are, you want it chronological. You want to be able to read it chronologically. the way that it's purchased as single issues.
Yeah. See, like with Something's Killing the Children, I only bought volumes 1, 2, and 3, and then I sold them when the deluxe was coming out. So I was like, okay, I don't need to collect the trades anymore. But at the moment, if I want the full story, I've got to have book 1, volume 4, book 2 to have that continuous story in release order, not timeline order, in release order. But I have faith that they will eventually bring it out. So I'm sitting tight.
But also it's inconsistency on your shelf as a viewing, inconsistency on the shelf, because if you've kept hold of those trade paperbacks to have that complete story,
Yeah.
you've got to slot those 2 trades
Yeah.
either in between the deluxes.
But just on Scott's point there too, sorry to interject, it's like he has faith that they will eventually bring it out. But as collectors, we are all rather impatient.
Mhm.
I know I am. And like,
Yeah.
how many times is DC especially where you think that they will do it at some point? We'll get this book at some point, and then it never comes. And then maybe you get rid of the rest of the books you own in that series. And then all of a sudden it does come out, and you're thinking, well, I give up on that. You know, I sold them or whatever. So I agree with Martin in this. I wholeheartedly stand with him. This needs to go into room 616.
Okay. All right. The other examples that I had when you told me about this was, I can't remember which one it is, but one of the Power Ranger Deluxes, there's one page where it just has no writing was printed on the page. All the speech bubbles are there, but there's
Go
no
Volume
words.
2.
Is it? It's Go 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you mean? There's no. Explain it again.
There was a misprint, so I think it was like the 80th page or something like that, around that mark. There was just one page where all the speech bubbles are empty.
And it's an error across the board. Boom actually came out and confirmed it's a mess up on their part. It is what it is.
Have they re-released it since?
Nope.
No.
No.
You just have to Google it. Just gotta
Oh,
Google that.
Wait a minute, that's our
page.
fault. Sorry. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's annoyed me now.
Never mind. Here's what it is, mate. And then the other example that I had was the War of the Realms omnibus. I think you all know the issue I have with that book. And it's the fact that it's not mapped correctly. And I still have it now. I have sticky notes to show the correct order of every issue, because I went through it online. I was like, I am not reading this out of order. And because I read about the first third of it, and I was like, this feels weird. I'm not happy about this, because it did like all of War of the Realms 1 to 6 quite early on, and then everything else. And I was like, this is weird. So I went back, labeled every issue, where I pretty much put 50 odd bookmarks in this book, with numbers on it. And I've now read the first 6 in chronological order, and then I stopped because I've spent enough time on that book now. I don't think I'll ever finish it. And that's it. And that really annoyed me.
That's one of the problems with the Marvel and DC. To be fair, those issues come across because the big events they do, like the big summer events they do every year.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's hard to get around that. But with Boom and Something's Killing the Children, that's a creative choice that we just don't understand, to be honest.
Yeah.
You can give DC and Marvel a bit of a bite ball, the fact that it's like that for their events, but there's no excuses for Boom.
No.
Yep.
I will raise one thing from Gareth. He said, so this is for Something's Killing the Children. With Volume 4 not likely be in the Book of Butcher's Deluxe, not confirmed, but that would make it a little sense, I guess. If it does, I'm not buying it, and I hope it doesn't go in there, because I know people who have read the Butcher series, and it's not doing well. It started well, and it's kind of dipped off, so I'm not too sure I'll be getting it. I just want to stick to the Erica Slaughter stuff.
But this is what is annoying. If they do stick it in there, I'm going to buy it because I want the Erica Slaughter story. I want those issues. And yeah, I could go for singles or buy the trades, but Again, the inconsistency on my shelf. I would rather suck it up and have that deluxe on there, knowing I've got them all in deluxe.
And not just deluxe, the waste of money deluxe.
100%.
No,
We all love
no,
those waste of money deluxe editions.
I do not. I will not be buying them ever. Okay, your time's up. Shall we see if people have voted if the inconsistency of collected editions should be put into Room 616 or not? On the poll, again, we've had 8 votes. Thank you very much, everyone who voted. 38% of the people have said no, which means that your gripe goes into the vault. So here we go. All of those inconsistencies, all those collected editions that have wronged people over the years, they now go into Room 616, locked away, hopefully to never see the light of day again. But let's not get our hopes up too high, because it probably will happen.
It will, yeah.
It will. Okay, yeah. Okay, but thank you very much. There we go. That's 2 for 2. Now,
Pressure's on.
for our third and final guest, shall we see if Philip can put his pop culture related gripe into Room 616?
I feel like a disclaimer, because I think people are going to vote no just to wind me up. Just so like I don't
Well,
get
now
into,
you've brought it on.
into the
Now.
vault.
Oh, you shouldn't have said anything, Phil.
Yeah, maybe I done
Right.
that on purpose. Maybe it's like reverse psychology.
Okay.
Anyway, my gripe is kind of, it can be long-winded. It's what comes to movies, fall on your
Mhm.
kind of trend, Liam, slightly. It's the remakes, the retelling, or even, as you mentioned, the kind of continuation of like an IP. You know, like where they just shoehorn a movie on to the end of a series of like 3 movies and they do it 20 years later. It's never the same. Please just stop it. Some movies, some franchises, some IPs need to be left alone. You know, I understand the reason why they do it. Like the remake is, if they're making a classic movie, say Ghostbusters, for example. Ghostbusters, one we all know, was fantastic. Ghostbusters 2, not so much. It was okay, but not as good as the first. But when they remade it in 2016, it was dreadful. Now, they brought it back with Afterlife, but Afterlife kind of focused on the nostalgia part of it. They kind of
Yeah.
changed the tone to be more Stranger Things type of tone to the movie. But then the newest Ghostbusters movie, again, okay, but was nowhere near Afterlife and nowhere near the first. I just think they need to leave things alone and just go with new ideas. As I say, they don't take risks anymore. If a studio is going to make a movie that's $150 million to make, they want to guarantee some of that money or most of that money back plus profit, and they're going to guarantee that with like the classic movies because people will buy the merch, the action figures, even on the first opening day weekend. And I don't know if you've seen this video going around on Instagram of like Matt Damon where he was asked why is it different. He's like,
Yeah.
Is this one of your points you got written down?
Yeah.
Basically, like where they no longer can bank on a DVD sale. They don't get that second bounce. And I completely understand it. But there's some movies you cannot touch. And I've got multiple examples here, but I'm going to talk about Grease. We've all seen the movie Grease. Now, Scott, it is pre-1995.
Yeah, I've seen it, mate. I've seen it.
Grease, the movie.
But please tell me more.
Oh, nice. I wish I was quick enough to think of a quirky reply, but I'm not. Grease was fantastic, right? Even if it's not your kind of movie, you have to appreciate what Grease was, right? It was the right time, the right kind of movie, the right cast. If you were to recast that now, it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. Grease 2 shows that. Have you ever seen Grease 2?
Yes.
It's horrible. It's not
tragic.
a good movie. Like, that's something they should never remake. That's it. Done. Do not go back to Grease, right? But mention Ghostbusters. Here's a list of some movies they've remade. Total Recall. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween. Now, Halloween again is another classic movie that if you ever read the story of how Halloween was made on such a shoestring budget, and like most of it was taken up by Donald Pleasance, who he worked for 2 weeks and he buggered off. Like that movie's a classic. So whenever they remade it with Rob Zombie a lot of years ago, it was fine, but it's not. You're never going to get that feel again, you know. The Mummy with Tom Cruise. I'm sorry, he's not Brendan Fraser.
Yep.
No.
The
Yeah.
Karate Kid, Point Break, Poltergeist, Planet of the Apes, Willy Wonka. It wasn't called Willy Wonka. It was called Willy Wonka, the original one.
There's
Wonka.
two of them now, isn't there?
RoboCop,
Yeah.
yeah, RoboCop, Psycho. Well, Beetlejuice isn't a remake, but there's a second Beetlejuice coming out.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
that didn't need remade.
Hmm.
The Crow, which I haven't seen, but it's bombed at the box office. And there's a lot of other ones, but the other thing too about not just remakes, it's like the continuation of
Hmm.
IPs. Like
Mhm.
we mentioned Alien. Alien was fantastic. Aliens was really good as well.
Mhm.
Alien Romulus was actually pretty good, but that's because it follows directly from the Aliens movies. It's not its own thing in between. It's literally a follow-on story. I feel like Jurassic Park's been done to death.
They're bringing it back.
But yeah, it's coming back again. Predator's been done to death. Even like Die Hard. Like Die Hard 1 and 2 was good. 3, 4, 5, not so much. So at some point they have to stop,
Yeah.
realize that they're destroying the legacy of
Yeah.
these movies, because we're all comic book readers and we read novels. There's countless stories out there, countless stories that they buy up all the IPs
Hmm.
and hope to make movies. They just buy them but don't do anything with them. Like, there's tons of ideas, and I just wish studios and directors went back to taking some risks.
So,
Yeah.
may I interject?
No,
No. Okay.
goes in the fold, people. In the fold.
So it's all economy based, and it's all because the consumers, like you said earlier, have stopped buying the physical media. So the bonus of people buying the physical media was that studios and creators could bet on the fact there'd be a massive second wave, a surge of a new chunk of income to then add on to the box office profits that they had for the film. So they could take the risks and make those cool movies because they would, even if they didn't break even during the cinema, when it was released in the cinema, they probably would when it came out on DVD. But now that's not going to happen. It doesn't happen because the amount of money that studios get from streaming rights is way lower, way lower than what they would get from like a DVD and a VHS and a Blu-ray sale. Plus, it's nostalgic to bring something back. You know, they're doing all the live action Disney films now, and I know they haven't been great. Some of them haven't been great, but
Having shit.
people are going to watch them
Yeah.
to then decide if they're good or not. Like, has it lived up to how I remember the original? Is it as good? Is it worse? Is it better? And studios could see it as a way to get a new audience in for that franchise, I guess.
I suppose my counter argument would be, if the studios don't have the money or don't want to risk the money. I mean, we're not talking about either of us four. We're talking about billionaires, who don't want to lose their
Yeah.
150 million to make a movie is nothing to them.
Yeah.
So like they just want to push on the expense to us, which is fair enough. And if we don't want to do it, we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But can you, hand on heart, tell me a remake of a movie from the last 20 years that was better than the original?
Yes, I can tell you quite a few.
I've got to hear this.
That makes
So, you ready?
oh,
It was glitched out.
Oh.
You've literally stunned Phil with the comeback. He can't physically take it now.
Oh no, he's
Oh
gone.
no, it's down to
No.
me.
No. Oh god. Okay. This couldn't have gone perfectly, could it?
It's okay.
Wow.
It was going so well.
It was going so well. But let's look at the comments. Let's look at, Perpetual Comics come in. Question: can YouTube channels be put into Room 616? If you come on and moan about one, mate, you can. If it's this one, yeah.
No.
No. There was Sean's here. He said Indiana Jones. Oh, so he said Raiders of the Lost Ark after the original trilogy really didn't need to happen.
Yeah. Totally agree. Star Wars. We could have just left Star Wars as the original trilogy. I would have even took on the chin episode 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
7, 8, and 9. I feel like you're just killing me softly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least the prequel trilogy is watchable if you do chronological order as opposed to release order. But the new trilogy, my days.
We don't necessarily need Phil for this part. He's made his argument. Everyone's got to vote. I just wanted to say some of the films that I found where the remakes actually did better than the originals, and this is all ratings wise now. So the film It. So the modern version. This is all on Rotten Tomatoes as well now. Okay, so that's scored 85, and the original was 57.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I'll give you that one as well.
There are a few really close ones. Like there's 1 point in it. So like
Right, so let's have a go, shall we? Go on.
Homeward Bound. So the latest one had 89 and the other one had 88.
Can't beat that was my childhood. Like
no, but it's not like modern, but the remake.
And to be fair, I've actually Panel and a half points made a very good point. Where is it? Oh, sorry, clicked on the wrong one. It was actually a TV movie.
What was?
It was the original.
Oh, what was?
Stephen
wasn't
King's
actually.
Yeah.
So technicality there.
Here's one that
Good
surprised
point,
me.
mate.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Footloose. The original 53, the remake 69. Written there, and
sorry, no.
Judge Dredd or Dredd. The original had 22, and the remake had 79.
Yeah,
so
I love the original. No. The original was fun but shite. Let's be honest.
I'm not denying it was shite. It was
Carl Urban is Dredd. That is Dredd.
But so is Stallone.
No, he's not. No, you're not. Put your helmet back on.
But anyway, I've got more on my list, but what I'm trying to say is that there is evidence and there is proof that remakes have been more successful.
Well, as Phil is not here to fight his case at the end, I have to say I do agree with Phil. The success rate against the failure rate for remakes outweighs it by miles. The amount of IPs that they've had to keep resurrecting to try and make movies over original ideas, it's not 50-50. It's definitely a 5%, 2% success rate over a,
Yeah.
Also, to defend Phil,
go on.
Ratings don't determine the success of anything.
Yep. People like to buy bad films. People like to rewatch bad films, like as in bad rated. Yep.
It's not only that, like you get so many films that are hated by the critics and they don't sell or whatever, but then fans love it and it becomes a cult classic.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
That's very true.
But Phil is setting up in the
fighting to come back. Phil is fighting to come back.
He's trying to use his phone, I think. Okay, there he is. Hiya, Phil.
Hello. I'm just. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I got some of what you were saying, Scott. I mean, Homeward Bound, Footloose. I mean, you're really playing the big guns there, like, aren't you? Let's be honest.
Ocean's 11. That was another one. The original had 48. The newer one had 82.
I mean, I get the argument for making, going on to new audiences and all the rest of it, but they could easily just rewatch old movies. Scott, you made a joke one time about anything pre-1995 you didn't watch. And like, it's just that's the best era of movies is pre-1995.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you name some movies, but like realistically, are they, in terms of the fans, in terms of like the steady, like the people, do we really like these remakes? We don't.
You've got a few
Yeah.
success ones, like, you know, if you actually put it into it, it was a massive success. Let's be honest, it was a lot better than the original TV movie.
But just kind of like what not just like you're adding other movies onto the franchise. Has there been any good Terminator movie since T2? Can anyone
That's
else
not a
play the
remake.
Terminator
That's not a
other than Arnie?
remake. That's not a
I know, but
remake.
I'm talking
That's
about
continuing
generally,
the IP.
Yeah, that's part of it. So like, can anyone, again, Total Recall, can anyone else play, I forget his name now, Mark something, in Total Recall? It's not Colin Farrell. Like
Colin
he
Farrell,
isn't
yeah,
doing
yeah.
that. Yeah. So it's
They
just,
changed the whole story as well, didn't they? It wasn't
it wasn't even on
nothing.
Mars. There was no body
No.
horror.
It was cashing on the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've had a lot of votes in for this one, and it's close. It is really close. There's literally one vote in it to determine if this goes into room 616 or not. 46% of the people in the chat have said that it should not go into room 616, meaning, Philip, you have successfully argued your way into getting remakes of films put into room 616. Well done. How do you feel?
I feel like those 46% are just out to get me rather than actually believe that it shouldn't.
Yeah, well, there we go. So there we go. So to recap, we've got current Ridley Scott in room 616. We've got inconsistencies with collected editions in room 616. And now we've got remakes and continuations of old films in room 616. And that's all because of you. You guys have voted for that. You've accepted their arguments, and you've allowed this to happen. I've done my best to argue my part, but you have agreed with the gripes of the people watching. But that's it from us. We're planning on doing this maybe in a monthly kind of format, depending on how much interest we have. If anyone has been watching tonight and you like this and you want to get involved, please reach out. You are more than welcome to join. The more the merrier. The longer we can keep this going, the better. It's a good bit of fun. I've enjoyed. Guys, have you enjoyed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did until the internet shut itself, but at least I'm in the vault, so I'm okay.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. It's been fantastic to see you all, and it's been fantastic to get everyone involved and together again. It's been a good bit of fun. Thanks a lot, guys. It's time to go. See ya.